think it's safe to say we all have something laying around, like on a shelf or a coffee table, something we just keep meaning to get around to, but we haven't. Maybe it's a book or an art project, or maybe it's a stack of magazines or a film that we bought. And that's kind of the topic for today's episode. This is the Kazdoy Closet. I'm Kazdoy, and that's my closet full of all the stuff that I love. And today, a film that I bought 4 years ago and just got around to watching last night. Let's check it out. Today's film is The Apartment from 1960, 2 hours long, beautiful black and white. This is about an insurance company employee who rents out his New York City apartment to his bosses so they can have affairs with their mistresses. He's also secretly in love with the elevator girl at his office building. This was directed by the great Billy Wilder, one of our greatest directors ever. This is a film that won him an Oscar for Best Picture and Best Director and Best Screenplay. He was the co-writer. And I think it's the first time that one person ever won all those awards in the same year for the same film. Billy Wilder, director of Double Indemnity, one of my top 10 favorite films. Some Like It Hot, which was made just a year before this one, and which I've almost memorized that film because I used to show it in my film studies class in high school, and calling it possibly the greatest comedy ever made. Sunset Boulevard, a film I really like, but I need to watch again because it's been too long. And then another film lesser known called Ace in the Hole, which is really a great film as well. The three main lead actors in this film are all excellent. Jack Lemmon is our main character. I think he made about 7 films with Billy Wilder in total. Shirley MacLaine is the love interest in the film. She's amazing. And Fred MacMurray playing another dark role. Now, Billy Wilder convinced him to play a dark role in Double Indemnity, even though Fred MacMurray was concerned it would affect his image. And then somehow, a few years later, he got him to play another dark role in The Apartment. And Fred MacMurray was concerned about his image. And in fact, after the film was released, a woman accosted him on the street and started yelling at him because he plays such a cad in this film. He's so cruel to Shirley MacLaine's character. So much has been said about this film that I thought I'm just going to talk about. Here's what I thought about while I was watching this. First of all, I thought this film has got a lot on its mind. Example, it has a lot to say about men, how men treat women, how men can act in the business world. At the same time, it also has a lot to say about loneliness, especially in a big city. I'll get to that a little bit more later on. It has a lot to say about the business world and how you can succeed in that world. Can you keep your integrity? Can you keep your morals? Can you be a good person and still succeed? Yes or no? It also has something to say about capitalism, because the way they portray the workers in this insurance company and the way he shoots this building, it's like a behemoth, in the city. It's overpowering, and it's kind of a commentary on capitalism and the possible corruptness of the business world and of capitalism. And that's very interesting, especially when you consider that the McCarthy era and the Hollywood blacklisting ended just about 5 years or so before this film was made. It also is about maybe overall being a mensch. Now, what I mean is, at one point, Jack Lemmon's character, Jack Lemmon's neighbor, says to him, "Have you ever thought about, calming down and becoming a mensch? You know what a mensch is?" Jack Lemmon says, "No." He goes, "It's a human being." And that really plants a seed in Jack Lemmon's head, and it kind of carries him through the rest of the film. So I thought an alternate title for this film might be Buddy Boy Becomes a Mensch, because buddy boys would all the bosses at work call him, "Hey, buddy boy," throughout the film. The other thing that ran through my mind while I was watching this film is the tone of this film, because the tone is not consistent. And at first I thought, that might be a fault of the film, but as I reflected on it, I thought that might be its strength because it's a lot of different things. It can be silly, it can be very dark, it can be funny, and it can be poignant too. So it's a lot. The tone is kind of all over the place. I think that makes it more interesting, and also can be kind of racy and suggestive too at the same time. It was marketed, I believe, as a comedy. Now this cover here for this edition I'm going to talk about, I think is more indicative of what the film's tone is, because there's the Jack Lemmon character down here, and there's one of his bosses with a mistress up in his apartment. He can't go in. He's always locked out of his apartment because, you know, they say, hey, you want to get ahead? Let us use this apartment. There's like 4 or 5 guys that take advantage of him in this. And so that's kind of sad, and I think that's more reflective of the tone, the real tone of the film. Whereas the original marketing campaign, as you can see, like this is one of the alternative artworks for the disc. It makes it look like a light kind of romantic comedy. There's Shirley MacLaine and Jack Lemmon kind of, you know, messing around together. This is not what the film is like whatsoever. So even though they had to market it like a comedy, and I've seen some other covers too that make it look very light, I don't think it's a real light film. I also think it's pretty provocative for its time, considering what this film is about and what the characters are doing. This is 1960. So some people have said that the key is sort of symbolic of, say a male sexual organ, and then the keyhole, a female sexual organ, and that is what's going on here. I don't know if that's true or not, but it's something to think about, right? I'm going to give The Apartment 4.5 keys out of 5. It was a close one for me. I almost went for the 5, and here's why I didn't. First of all, other Billy Wilder films, like the ones I mentioned, I think are superior to this film. Jack Lemmon's performance gets a little too twitchy and high-strung for me at some points. There's that famous scene where he's making spaghetti for Shirley MacLaine, and he's using a tennis racket as a strainer, as a colander. And I thought, why? I get the visual, the pun of it kind of, but why would he be using that? He's got a little kitchenette there. He's got pots and pans. He's got plates. Why not use a colander, except just because it's funny? So it seemed a little contrived to me. I know that's real picky, but it just kind of bugs me for some reason. But bottom line is, after I watched it, thought about it, read about it, I thought, you know, I could watch this again right away. And for me, a 5-star film is one of those films you could just watch it anytime. So 4.5, maybe 5. We'll go with 4.5, I guess. This is an Arrow limited edition. Why is it limited edition? A couple of reasons. It has this. This is really just the box, the really hard box. And then along with that, you get a hardbound book. You don't see these many times anymore with these Blu-rays and stuff. A hardbound book's about 130 pages long, really nicely done. And look, it has a lot of stills from the film, and then it also has some behind the scenes clips too. So they're not just clips from the film, they're also from behind the scenes. And there's about 4 essays. They're all very well done. So this is a really nice book, really nicely designed. And you have, as I showed you before, the reversible artwork. This is the other side. This is the original artwork here, not the artwork that they did for the Arrow edition. So you also have the picture quality is excellent. The audio is excellent. There are a couple of commentary tracks, which I did not listen to. There's a whole slew of extras, including film historians talking about the film in general, doing a scene-by-scene, selected scene commentary. There is an interview with one of the supporting actresses. There's an archival interview with Billy Wilder. There's a feature about Jack Lemmon. There's a making of feature. So a lot of stuff on here. Now you can buy this one, this limited edition one with the box, but you're going to pay maybe $65 for it or more. Or you can just buy everything I talked about except the box and except the book. but all the extra features for a reasonable price, like $30 or something on Amazon. So where can you see the apartment? Well, TCM might have it on their app. The Criterion channel shows it once in a while. I think you should be able to rent it either through Amazon or YouTube or one of those services, or probably through your library too, since it's been around for so long. So the apartment. Hope you like this one. I'm going to assume a lot of you have seen this one before. Feel free to leave a comment or suggestion down below here. Leave a thumbs up. Don't leave a thumbs down. Subscribe would be great. We surpassed our goal of 350 subscribers. So our next goal, 375. Thank you so much for subscribing. Really appreciate it. Share this with your friends and neighbors. Otherwise, thanks again for watching. See you next time.